Hi everyone. Good morning, good evening, and welcome to this session on resume writing. I'm sure every one of you are eagerly waiting for this. We'll get into this act immediately. Now, the whole thing is about art and science of resume writing. What is this about art and science of resume writing? Now, there is a small correction that which I want to suggest to you all. Resume is a verb. Okay, unfortunately, people use this word resume for this, which is a noun called resume. Okay, resume is the one which we use for the formal document that we use for our entry into any organization. Okay, so I would encourage you to know this pronunciation. It is resume and not resume. Okay, yeah. Now, what is a resume? Yeah. Your resume is often the first contact you have with your future employer. It's your best marketing tool. But unfortunately, if you are a HR and if you are going through the resumes of many people who send for any opening that is available, it is unfortunate to see that most of it are not presented well. Okay, so this is one document which is the first contact and also showcases the potentials and credentials of the prospective employer. So it is very important for us to actually give a lot of attention towards this piece of information that is going to reach an organization. Okay. Now, before even we go out, what are the things that I can do to have a standout resume? What do I mean by stand out? A standout is something that which stands out from among a crowd. Yeah. So what can I do about that? Yeah, we'll see that. If you want your resume to stand out, it must be clear, concise, focused, and confident. Haha. Now, do you find that there is a word called confident? How can a resume, a piece of a document, project itself as confident? Yes, definitely it does. How? When you have mentioned all your credentials very clearly, concisely, and in a focused manner, that is when the whole thing stands out as confident. Okay? Now, there are three main questions that you should ask yourself when applying for any job. What are they? Yeah. First thing is, can I do the job? You and I definitely ought to do some homework, rather, understand what the job is about, and find out if I can really do the job. I'll come to why these questions are important and what are the things that are related to these questions a little later now. Okay. Will I do the job? Yeah. Because if you don't understand the responsibilities that are given there, then you may join the organization and find certain things related to the job that which you do not want to do. So will you do the job? Okay. And finally, will I really fit in? Fit in where? Fit into the organization and into the role as well. Okay, so now to explain those questions, I'm coming down to this performance expectations within an organization. Okay, we will take two categories of organizations. Okay, one is the large organization, and the other one is the small organization. Okay, now we will see the performance expectation within a large organization. Yeah, employee must be procedural. What is being procedural? And any large organization has grown over a period of long years, right? So they would have come to certain procedures and processes, and everything would have been set there. So all I have to do is join the company and get into that process. Yeah. So I need to be procedural. Employee must work in teams. Some of the big, large organizations that you walk into, you will find about 5,000 to 10,000 people working in a particular place. But you must know that everyone belongs to a team. There is no way a person can be independent. Okay. Employee can rely on experts from other departments. Because of the extent of the organization itself, there are experts that are available, who are available in other departments, who will come to our aid. And finally, employee is less likely to be working in multiple areas and more likely to be an expert of a given area. Okay, for example, if you are going to get into a accounts department and you are given a procedure or a process to do, you will do that time and again every day, 24 bar 7, and finally what happens is you become an expert in that. But unlike the other organization, you will not have the opportunity to work in other areas. Okay, now let us look at the small organizations. Okay, employee must be more flexible and not procedural. You can't say that I walk into a small organization and say that, okay, this is what I have to do. There may not be a procedure or a process which is available there. And so I need to have that flexibility to identify and find out what are the things that I have to do and make it happen. Employee must be more independent, well structured, and organized. Okay. I just this morning I was interviewing a young man. He is working in an organization for about 8 9 months, and he is looking at a change. So I asked him, "You are smart, you are handsome, you are very intelligent. Why are you looking at a change?" He says, "Sir, I have brilliant ideas, and whenever I express things, they are not accepting it, and they say that you need to follow these things and do it accordingly." Yeah. And so any large organization doesn't actually encourage change or anything new immediately. Okay. So we must be an employee in a small organization need to be independent, well structured and organized. Oh my God, independent and well structured and organized? Yes. Unless I am well structured and organized, I won't be able to document whatever I do. I may be independent, I may be doing things independently, but if I am not organized and record and document, then I may not be able to develop a process. Okay. Employee has to be a self starter and be able to work without defined procedures. Okay. So when I walk into any small organization, I have to take the initiative to start doing things on my own. Yeah. And finally, employee is usually required to work in more than one area. Say, for example, I am in the marketing department and there is a need for training to happen to a couple of people who are working. Then I may have this gift, so I may have to step into that trainer's profile and start training. Okay, so these are opportunities for anyone who is joining a small organization. Now, coming back to the question, now do you realize why it is very important for you to understand, can I do the job? Because there are two things which are available for you, a large organization and a small organization, and the performance that you are required to do, requirement. Okay, will I do the job? Will I, as if I am going to join a small organization, then I'm expected to do certain other jobs. I may be should be able to do certain other menial things too. Will I do that job? And finally, will I really fit in there? Like this young gentleman who I interviewed this morning, he finds himself to be a misfit in that big organization because he is an innovative person. So probably this is important because it helps me make the right choice. So have I made the right choice in joining an organization? Because based on that, now I can formulate the resume that I have to make. Yeah. So now let us discuss about the elements of a resume. Yeah. What are they? I'm going to give you the headings. Maybe there will be a slight difference in whatever we do, note it down, or it will be available for you. You can choose whichever heading that you want to give. Okay. First is, of course, your name and contact details. Then comes your objective, your work experience, education, area of interest, project, honors or achievements or co-curricular activities. You can put it under any of these things. Certificates and extracurricular activities. Publications, if you are a person who is having some experience and you are into the academic side and you have publicized certain things, you can do that. Special skills or your strengths, you can call your strengths as even your special skills. And finally, your personal information. Okay. So kind of, you don't have to cover all these topics, but you can be innovative in placing it here and there. So mix and match and make it into a standout resume that you want it to be. Okay, now coming to heading. Okay, I'm just giving you a small example of certain things. Rahul Kumar JR. Okay, these are all fictitious names that I have chosen, so don't worry about what it is and all that. Your phone number, your mail ID. Mail ID, when you're choosing a mail ID, let it not be a fancy one like, Royal Roy or Romeo Rajkumar and things like that. But let it be a very professional one. Okay. And while you're giving your LinkedIn link or your any other social media links that you're going to provide, also be aware that you could be leaving a digital footprint. What kind of digital footprint are you leaving? For example, if you're in Facebook or Twitter or whatever it is, the language that you use. Because every organization has access to all of your social media contacts. So you need to be very careful about that. Kindly scan your photograph into your resume so that it doesn't bulge out one thing and it looks very professional. Many people now scan and take a copy. So it is very important for you to scan and put it up. Now, when it comes to objective, this is one typical, very nicely worded objective that I have taken here. Okay, the career objective says, elementary teacher looking for a position at a small independent school where I can apply my 5 years of teaching experience, Montessori model instruction, technology, and curriculum development skills to support student growth and success. See how beautifully he or she has written the whole thing. Yeah. So elementary teacher specifically tells the job title that she is looking at or applying for. The objective for her is looking for a position in a small independent school. Probably she is looking at putting her knowledge and her innovative skills into practice here. Okay, then she has come out with her experience, apply 5 years of teaching experience. Yeah, and finally, she also has given the skill keywords, or the skills that she possesses. What are the skills she possesses? Montessori model instruction, technology, she is also computer savvy, and curriculum development. Okay, she's been doing that all her 5 years of maybe her teaching experience. Okay, this is one objective for a person who has some experience. Okay, now objective sample. Now this is for a person who doesn't know. Okay, what position that is, probably an entry level. Okay, so this is to work in an organization that provides me an opportunity to grow as a professional as well as an individual, where my potentials can completely be utilized to serve the organizational goal. Yeah, simply worded, fantastic. Okay, the next one is in a scenario where you know the position that you are applying to. Okay, looking for a network administrator position in a leading IT company to enhance my technical skills and upgrade my professional knowledge and convert organizational goals into reality. Yeah, so these are some of the things that which I have mentioned, and there are many people who generally wanting to write their own objectives and make a lot of mistakes, or sometimes if you put it into a document, this will not exceed more than 2.5 lines or 2 lines. Yeah. So any objective for that matter should not be longer than 1.5 or 2 lines maximum. Yeah. So in I have also come across a couple of resumes where people wanted to showcase their own expertise in writing, and unfortunately goof up the whole thing, because I have seen even paragraphs, 5 6 lines and even 7 10 lines as objectives, which definitely is not acceptable. And some of the resumes that which I have seen, which actually has stood out really well, are some things where the objective was not there at all. Okay, so it depends on how you want to place it. Probably those people have taken help from people who have some experience. Okay, with regard to work experience, for people who have some work experience, you could put all these things: job title, date, employer, city, state, or major duties, special projects, and accomplishments. Yeah. And maybe you have another job which you have experienced, and you can also put it there. Yeah, so work experience comes in there. The education now is quite interesting. There are a couple of types or different models that I'm going to give you here. Okay, here it is: college, major area of concentration, degree, dates. Yeah, Crescent School of Business, the college name, then the stream that they have chosen, degree is MBA, and then the dates. Yeah. Similarly, what is the UG that this person has done, and also the higher secondary course where he or she has done, wherever she has done. Yeah, this is one type that you could use for your resume. The other is simple. Yeah, where just about 6 or 7 lines you have covered. Yeah, I would prefer either this, yeah, or the first one I wouldn't actually prefer, but I would prefer this, because this is very simple, and it throws out actually. Yeah, some people give it in this tabular form. Tabular form, what I find is, if if you want to pack your resume in about 1.5 pages or maximum 2 pages, or sometimes even 1 page, then if you are going to put this is going to occupy a major portion of the resume, the paper, and unfortunately your resume will spill over to the other page too. Okay, so you have to take caution and see how best you can place your education there. Okay, the percentage column is also there. If I would refer, say for example, this person, he scored 92 in his 10th standard, 96 in his, there is a higher percentage, and college, of course, he may be able to justify why he's got 80 percentage. I know this person because he has been very, very active in all the other clubs and other things that are available in a college. Yeah, so maybe he can justify saying that I have a drop in my percentage because of that. Okay, so if in case you find your percentage is actually declining, I would say avoid this percentage column. Okay, no, don't mention about your percentages. There you handle it as and when, as and how the interviewer is going to ask you questions or whatever it is. Okay, yeah. Now, area of interest, your passion towards some topics within the academic purview, which would contribute to the job that you aspire for. Yeah. So, say for example, BCom and Viscom, what are the things that you could have? Tally and Excel for BCom, and web designing for Viscom. Food technology, probably you could have manufacturing of jam and jelly, or toxicity and its methods of determination of toxicity and methods. Yeah, and computer science program, you will know all these things, right? The programming languages and the coding expertise or whatever it is as area of interest. Yeah, project. Now, project is one thing which needs a little bit of your attention, and it should be presented well too. Yeah, for example, this is a nicely done project, the mentioning of the project here: traffic light control application on embedded systems. Now, hands-on training on unified technology learning, all these things he or she has given. Yeah, so keep it light and simple. Okay. Now, coming to paper presentation, in-plant training, and industrial visits and all that, you need to put in, definitely you can mention all those things there. And also, it is very important for you to understand what you have put in the resume under these topics. For example, there may be a topic which interests me as an interviewer, and I may throw a question at you as to what have you learned out of this paper presentation. Now, if you're going to sit there and blink, then you cut a sorry figure there, right? So it's very important for you to mention and also understand exactly what happens in the entire document. Okay. For example, there was another gentleman about a couple of days back when I was interviewing him. The moment I saw the moment I opened the resume and saw the objective, I knew that he had not written the objective himself. So casually, I asked him. I didn't even tell him that did you write and things like that. But I casually asked him the meaning of a couple of words that he had mentioned there, and he was blinking. He didn't know what the meaning of it was. Then he had to accept and tell me that, sir, I actually copied it from the net. Now, is it okay to copy? That's a $1 billion question. It depends on you. How well you are able to choose something that which reflects your personality, your requirement, and would express your thoughts in the objective is very important. I'm sorry, I'm deviating. But likewise, in your presentation and in plant training or whatever it is, most of the industrial visits are all fun trips. But besides that, there is always the visit that which is happening during that period of time, the couple of hours that you're going to spend in the industrial visit. Could you raise questions? Can you become curious enough to understand what is happening around and learn from it and record it? So, amidst all the fun that you're going to have, you will also have recorded whatever you have learned, and that will come into use here, tremendous use here. Okay. Now, honors or achievements or co-curricular activities. This you have to think of. Yeah. This is one way of putting your honors or achievements. Most often, what happens is when we are discussing or helping out a person in his placement skills and things like that, and if you're going to ask any student, most often, okay, I'm not saying all the time, when we ask him, what are your achievements, then he or she has to think, and think for a whole lot of time. Yeah. So this is the area that which is a lot concerning for all of us. Yeah. Unless otherwise, there are people who are brilliant. They know what they are doing. They know what they have achieved. They are very clear about what they have to do. They have done and things like that. They come up with the achievements list very quickly. But otherwise, it becomes a big thought process that has to be provoked and provoked and provoked, and then finally it comes out. Nevertheless, there are people who have told us that, sir, I can't think of any achievements at all. I'm not an achiever. I'm sorry, my dear friend, you are definitely an achiever. There have been some areas, maybe you have failed terribly in your past, but that doesn't mean that you have not achieved. You have definitely overcome those obstacles, and you have definitely achieved something in your life. So you have to really ponder about it. Yeah. And write down all these honors or achievements. You can put any of these heading there and record these things. Then coming to certificates and extracurricular activities. The extracurricular activities, like for example, the drama, music, and performing arts club. Then, what are the things that which you have achieved, accomplishments in that particular activity? Okay, fostered the team and won the first prize in the intercollegiate competition activity, volunteer work or community involvement or community service. Here, this person says worked among the underprivileged children. An accomplishment, he says, motivated the school dropouts to rejoin school and followed up by providing them evening tuitions. Fantastic certificate to or extracurricular activity claim that you can make here. Yeah. Publications, of course, these are for people who have experience in the academic side. So the title and type, notice article, note article, or etc. Title of publication, which journal or book that it has appeared, and the publisher and the date upon which it was published. Okay, special skills or the strengths. I would give a couple of models for you here. Here is a person who has written it as a small paragraph. Okay, just about two and a half lines, who says hardworking and can follow rigid time schedules and capable of taking up responsibilities, good communication skills, a person who is proactive and capable of mediating disputes. Okay, looks like he happens to be a good leader too. Yeah, or otherwise you could put it in bullet points as critical thinking, written communication, time management, and negotiation. Yeah, whichever type you want to choose. If you can take some help from people who are good in the language English, you could give them the points that which you want to be covered and ask them to write something like this, or you could put it in bullet points and put it up there. Okay, now coming to personal information. Okay, you don't have to put your name once again here, and I wouldn't advise you to put even your father's name or your mother's name. Most often what happens is you put either your father's name or your mother's name, and then there are I'm sorry to say this, there are people who copy resumes and literally leave the personal information as it is, so someone else's father and mother becomes my father and mother here. Okay, so please do not make such mistakes. You know, you could copy the format, but you definitely have to fill up the personal information that you have here. Okay. I would suggest that you don't even mention nationality if it happens to be within India. Probably if you're applying for a job outside of India, you may have to mention your nationality there. Yeah. Yes. Now, please carefully edit and proofread. This is where many people make a lot of mistakes. Yeah. In my experience, I saw there was, a whole lot of spelling mistakes and spacing mistakes, and the words getting broken and jumbled up, and I could just not accept it. So when I was speaking to this person, I was doing an online interview. So at the face of it, I told the person that, don't you think that you are a very careless person? Yeah. But that person was very smart, and she told me, sir, I know that you're referring to my resume, but unfortunately, sir, it was a last minute preparation. Then I said, having decided to come for an interview, how can you make such a mistake? She said, I'm extremely sorry, but she happened to be an excellent candidate, very strong in her subjects, a very on the feet thinker, very smart, a smart worker, all these things. Okay, so it is very important for you to proofread your resume. See, don't think that nobody is there to help you. It is very important for you to write down and ask for help. And I don't think anyone would say that, oh, I don't have the time to correct your resume and things like that. Definitely, there are people who could help you in getting this proofread. Okay, a clean, error-free resume will make you look very professional. Yeah. The moment I pick up, why? Because for any small number of vacancies that are available at organizations, there are thousands of people who are applying for the same job. And do you think it is an easy job for the HR to sort out all these things? No, absolutely. Unless and otherwise they find it to be very clean, neat, and nicely presented, they just, some of it, they don't even open. They're just going to throw it into the dustbin. Yeah. So a clean, error-free resume is one thing which is definitely a must. Okay. Ask a friend or a family member to read the resume for you as well. Sometimes what happens is, as a person is reading, see, you may not be good in English language, but when I read your article or any document, or for, in this matter, your resume, when I read and you're able to listen, you will be able to yourself identify a couple of mistakes. Yeah. And as I'm reading, I will also spot out the mistakes and you can eliminate them. Yeah. So definitely an error-free resume is possible, and please do not hesitate to ask help from any of your friends or relatives or whoever knows the language well. Yeah. What are the resume mistakes? Now, let's come to the resume mistakes. Please spell check. There are simple errors that change the entire meaning of a sentence or the whole thing that which you are trying to explain. The font faults, yeah. Some of it are, 12, some of it, the font itself is different, the size is different, all of these things. The objective is in one font and one size, and personal details are in different font and style and things like that. Yeah, buried skills is one thing. There are many people who mention certain accomplishments in just one line. I have received the governor's certificate from the governor and things like that. Now, the story behind it could be something revealing and a big achievement in itself, because there was definitely a typical guy who was who I was talking to, and he was telling me that, sir, I don't have any achievement at all. So I was going through his resume, his certificates, and other things that were there. So I asked him, "What is this certificate?" He said, "Sir, this is one thing which I received from the President of India." How that put a thought in me, and I said, "Do you have a story behind this?" He said, "Sir, actually, when I was in the seventh standard, I saw another friend of mine. He called him, big brother. In Tamil they say Anna. That Anna went and received a certificate from the President of India." And I said, "I too would like to receive a certificate from the hands of the President." And so he went and found out how he, or which organization he joined, and what did he do to get the certificate from the hands of the President. And finally, he worked his way through, and he landed up in getting that certificate. How beautiful it is! I said, "Why have you done this? You could never do this to yourself, because these are some of the buried skills that I find. You don't give an importance to it because you don't much add value. Unless you add value to whatever you have, there is absolutely no one else who would understand what it is that you have received." There was another girl in one of the colleges. She just mentioned that I got the first prize in drawing competition. So when I, see, of course, yes, there were some dearth. She didn't have much of an accomplishment and things like that. So in the process of exploring, I found that she had attended this, drawing competition. There were about 2,000 people who had participated in that event. Okay, the high school. Okay, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and she happened to be in the seventh standard, and she got the first prize among all the 2,000 people. So I said, "You have a wonderful story. So you have to build on that." Okay. So please don't bury your skills in your resume, and do not give incorrect information. It is very, very important for you to be very truthful. Okay. Be honest, and whatever you are printing in that document better be correct, because otherwise there is a big danger of when they find out, it is so embarrassing, and it may cost your job too. You find it in so many things that are happening around in India. Okay. Also, when you take a printout of your resume, please take it in a very nice paper. You don't have to go in for an expensive polished or semi-polished kind of thing, but good A4 quality paper that you take, so that the print and everything, there are no bludges and things like that there. It looks very neat and presentable. Okay. Now there are certain things that which you have to be using. Okay, usage of verbs here. Yeah. The ordinary verbs that we normally tend to use and the action-oriented verbs. Okay. Some of it I'm going to show it here. Did a technical writing course. Yeah. Don't just plainly say that. Successfully completed or topped the technical writing course. Yeah. Worded well, action-oriented verbs. Okay. Helped teammates in the project. Could be written as guided teammates in the project. Yeah. Did the marketing survey for our products. Yeah. Forecast the reception of our products. It looks very professional and very nice. Yeah. The point is, I'll come to it. Planned the launch of the products, formulated an action plan to launch the products. Okay. While we are using action-oriented verbs, such words here, it is also very important for us to understand what exactly guided teammates in the project means. Yeah. Otherwise, what will happen is the interviewers are very smart, and they'll just pick sentences and say that, what do you mean by this? Can you justify this? And then we'll be cutting a sorry figure there. Yeah. So while it is very important for us to use action-oriented verbs and resumes, it is also very important. We need to understand every word that is there in the resume. Yeah. Some other verbs that you could use in different scenarios. Okay. For example, you led a project. Okay. So instead of putting just led, what are the things that you could do? Chaired, controlled, coordinated, executed, headed, operated, orchestrated, organized, oversaw, planned, produced, something like this, or programmed and all that. Okay. Now, you should also choose words according to the context of the project that you're using. You just can't be using chaired when you have led. Okay. Oversaw may be a right word in place of your led, or headed could be a better word, and things like that. Okay. So you need to be very cautious in choosing such words. And is there a question of saying that, sir, why do I have to? You must use it for the resume to be a standout one. Okay. Now you have improved. You have worked in some organization and you have improved on certain things. Okay. From an age-old kind or an old type of things into the brand new one, internet age and things like that. So here it is centralized or converted, customized, integrated, merged, modified, overhauled, redesigned, remodeled, reorganized, restructured, some of these words that you could use. Okay. Updated, upgraded, or whatever. Yeah. Why is this? I don't know if it is seen there. Yeah. Oh, you have managed a team. Again, you had worked probably in an organization, or you had managed a team within the college that you had studied. Okay. So directed, enabled, facilitated, fostered, guided, inspired, motivated, mentored, shaped. All these words could be used. Okay. You achieved something. You targeted something and you achieved the goal. So attained, awarded, completed, demonstrated, earned, exceeded, outperformed, reached, showcased, succeeded, surpassed, these things. Okay. Now, I'm almost done. It's all over now, actually, with this. Now, I don't know if you have come across such a situation where suddenly you find your friends who are seniors, wanting suddenly realize that, oh my gosh, I have come to the 6th semester or 7th semester now. It is time for me to write my resume, and they write and find that there is nothing to add there of good quality work. Yeah. Why? Because they may have missed out on building their resume. So this may be appropriate for the people who are into the first year of college, whichever college, maybe engineering or a professional college or an arts and science or whatever it is. It is very important for you to plan out. Okay, plan your certificate courses from first year itself. So what will happen is when the time comes for you to go for a campus interview, and when it is time for you to write a resume, you have so much of material to put in there, and you will really feel proud, and it gives you a whole lot of confidence. Otherwise, you'll be left with a very few things to add there, and you will feel terrible about having to write a resume like that and then to apply even. Yeah. Set goals with timeline. It's very important to have a timeline. For example, some of the college students, I tell them is the first 6 months. If you are coming from a rural background with the vernacular medium instruction, I would say that the first 6 months, take time and say that, okay, these 6 months I'm going to develop my language skills, English speaking skills. Concentrate on that, bombard yourself with all kinds of words and material that could help you with the learning of the language. And in 6 months time you should see what happens to your own confidence. Okay, from that moment onwards you will find you are up to something or the other, learning in 3 months or 6 months or whatever it is. And by the end of the third year you have at least 6 to 9 to 10 certificate courses. Okay, talk to people in various fields during the course of your studies. Okay, don't wait for the last year to come. In the beginning of the year itself, walk into people's offices. BCom graduates could walk into people who are doing CA or accounts or whatever it is. And there are people who walk into the offices of people who have cleared UPSC. There are many people for motivation, tremendous inspiring people who have absolutely come from broken families, school dropouts, and who have achieved great things in their lives. So talk to people in various fields and various achievers. Yeah, discuss strategies for success. It's very important for us to build a resume. Yeah. So 3 years of college life. Now you may look at me and ask, sir, is there a time for me to enjoy? You could actually definitely enjoy. Okay, that is where the college days are wonderful. You should not miss on the can I say bunking of the classes and going for a movie, a couple of movies here and there. Yes, of course you could do that. You could have the fun that you could really have. All of this happens when you plan your life. Yeah. Thank you very much. I hope this was useful to you. Now we'll come to the questions, some of the questions that you have asked here. What to write in extracurricular activities if I actually have not participated in any such activities? I am very sorry, there is nothing that you could add if you have not done anything. Yeah, you may have to think of what are the things that you have done other than your curriculum. Yeah. Have you participated in any sports events and things like that? But you say that you haven't done anything. So what could you add? I'm sorry, you may not have anything to write there at all. And that is why I say, resume building is very important. Yeah. If employee is not working for long time, say 4 years, career gap, then how to write perfect resume to get selected by employer? Any gap for that matter. Now, 4 years is a long period of time. Maybe this is a period of time being asked by a woman. I don't know. I presume it is because of marriage and childbearing and things like that. People take a break. Okay, women take a break for such long periods. Otherwise, generally people take a break for their courses, maybe a management course or whatever it is. So you will definitely have to justify your gap. Yes. Who should we answer the question, tell me about yourself in any interview? Should we avoid telling? Yes, you definitely can't. What is written in your resume? Yes, you definitely can't be repeating all that uh, all that you have written in the resume. Yes, obviously, yeah. Um, Tell me about yourself is about your personality. What kind of a person are you? What are your experiences in project? Meaning, how did you choose the project? Was there a difficulty, or did your professor say that, hey, this might be difficult for you? You may not be able to finish on time. There may be a financial problem for you. How did you overcome them? Yeah. These are the things that which you have to tell about yourself. You could talk about your own hobbies and interests, and how your hobbies have given you some skills for your life as well as your studies, whatever it is. Yeah. What exactly should I put on my resume and what should I leave out? Um, this I'm very sorry that unless I see the points that you have to put in a resume, I won't be able to tell, because the ones which you can't justify, the ones with the least importance. Say, for example, some people will say that I attended. Participating in a paper presentation is different, because you have chosen a topic, you had to submit your topic, you had to be selected, and then you have went and presented your paper and things like that. But some of them have written, for the sake of filling up that heading, they would say that I attended it. So I have no qualms about it, but definitely I ask them, what have you gained by attending it? Unless they are able to justify, then it's of no use there, right? Rather leave it alone, and then go ahead with all the solid things that which you have there. Okay. Why do I need to list my work achievements, not just my duties and responsibilities? Anyone who goes to an organization, an office to work, have to definitely do the duties and responsibilities. But why am I performing my duties and responsibilities? Definitely there is an organizational goal. Definitely there is a team goal that which I have to achieve. Yeah. So what is my contribution in that? Yeah. Here, I sense, this person is a very timid person, probably a timid person who says, I don't like to blow my own horns and things like that. But definitely achievements do count. Unfortunately, in the professional world, when you go and when you're going to jump an organization, the other organization is going to ask you not your duties and responsibilities and what result has it yielded you. Yeah. And because of which, what are the benefits that you have enjoyed in that organization. Yeah. Sir, how to present our achievements in a good manner? Yeah. First, I'm very happy that you have identified your achievements. Yeah. I need to understand the achievement that you have in your list to be able to present it in a good manner. Yeah. Maybe you can send the requirements, whatever you want, to NPTEL, and they will forward it to us, and we will definitely help you in sorting it out, or putting it in words, and see how it can be presented well. Sir, if I have written all things, including personal details, strength, weakness, interest, etc., in CV, then teachers say, please don't tell things which are already in resume when asked to introduce yourself. Of course, yes. Of course, yes. See, personal details and strength. Yeah, strength you would definitely not have put. In terms of I'm a hard-working person. Yeah, we saw that here, right? Good communication, negotiator, a good leader. Now, how did I find out that I'm a good leader? What are the circumstances, what are the situations in which people have identified the leadership that I have, and I have a discovery of myself as a good leader, a wonderful leader. Yeah, how do I justify? You have to justify your strengths then. Yeah, so definitely a teacher or anybody, the interviewer is not going to say, no, 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 good leader, you have mentioned here, why are you saying about it? No. In fact, if I interview, I will go to the strengths column and say that you seem to be claiming that you're a hard worker. Now, give me examples of how you have achieved something by your hard work. Yeah, so don't worry about all those things. In case you need some clarification, you could definitely attend the soft skills classes, the placement classes that are going to be conducted. Maybe because of coronavirus, it was postponed. It was supposed to be from 16 to 21st. At a later date, when it is happening, you could come there. We will definitely help you out in that. um, should the projects done so far need be included in the resume? um, Meaning, I don't understand, but I presume that you have um, in your 3 years of college studies, or your 4 years of engineering degree, or some even 5 years, you whatever you have done as projects, right? So you definitely ought to have a good knowledge about your project. Yeah, under what circumstances you chose the project, why you chose the project, all these things you could put. You should have an idea. Okay, don't elaborate it on the resume. Yeah, I saw it here. Should the projects done so far need be included? Any project, you definitely need to include it in the resume. Now, why did I say that you need to understand the project very well, and also be able to explain the project? Just this morning I was interviewing a guy and I said, okay, explain your project. He blinked. Okay, and I said, what is happening? Whatever was there, he just told me in those 3 or 4 sentences. And so I asked him what happened. He said, no sir, I was in a team, and I actually, he was very honest that way. He said that I didn't give my 100% in that project, so I copied. Worst come, there are students in some of the colleges, when we do projects, resume writing, and I talk to them about projects and say that, yeah, you copy, and a couple of people looked at me innocently and said, sir, we buy the projects. you know so there so many things are happening around, so it's very important for us to, whatever information that you are having in the resume, you must have a clear idea from every word, the meanings of every word, meaning of what the sentence is trying to tell the person who's reading the resume, or whatever you want to project yourself as. Sometimes what happens is, like for example, your strengths and all that doesn't showcase much of you there, unless otherwise you explain it well. Yeah, so it is very important for you to be able to understand every bit of information that is there in the resume, which definitely needs to be explained there at the interview. Yeah. So I think I have covered all the questions here. I hope this session was useful to you. I enjoyed being here online with you guys. Unfortunately, I was not able to go into the chat box and read all those things, because this is not a session where we can go and read all those feedback or whatever questions that you have. My team has given me this, within that time frame, whatever questions have arisen, and we will definitely come back if there are any other questions that are there. Be assured that we are going to answer the questions that you're going to ask, that you have asked, or you have any other questions to be answered, we will definitely answer. So here is signing off, Roy Anand from NPTEL. God bless you. Have a wonderful weekend ahead.